ADASS is embarking on a new project to highlight the diversity of people and experiences of those working in social care. A number of colleagues have been interviewed to explore the many different ways people take to leadership roles and the positive impact they are making. Positive representation matters. We hope that this series will inspire all of us to stand up and shout louder about the issues that matter to us the most.
My name's Abbii Henry. I'm the Principal Social Worker for Adults for Solihull Council. I've worked at the council for about 19 and a half years in various different teams. I actually qualified in 2009 and the degree was actually paid for by Solihull.
What does diverse leadership mean to you and why do you think it's so important?
Diverse leadership to me means that there's people in those positions, leaders in those positions that are reflective of the people that we serve out in the community. Certainly as a social worker and as an SCF, there was limited, I didn't see many people that looked like me in those roles. If you see someone of colour or someone, you're working as a social worker with a disability, and you don't see someone that reflects that in sort of senior leadership. Or
what were the biggest barriers you faced in your journey to a leadership role?
I think the first one was really believing that I was good enough to be in the position that I'm in now, and before then in any sort of management position. I was very lucky in the respect that I had really good supervisors and line managers that encouraged me. It's having the confidence to go through even like an interviewing process. It's just so tough. The interviewing process, I went through a number of interviews and each one just got worse and worse. Never saw anybody on the panel again that looked like myself. So there was no one that I could really sort of connect to.
What would you say are the biggest challenges you now face in a leadership role?
Challenges to myself really that I don't need, because I've always felt like I needed to be better than anyone else. It's also sort of knowing that my sort of predecessors were not like me at all, and also in the way that I looked as a black woman, that I'm almost a torchbearer, I suppose, in the role that I am. So it's making sure that that path is there for the next person.
What piece of career advice would you offer those of us from traditionally marginalised or underrepresented backgrounds?
I think the biggest career advice I would offer for anyone is to keep knocking at that door, keep applying for those jobs that you think that you're not good enough for, taking those opportunities to sort of train, retrain, go on those courses. Network is a big one for me. Make your face known. So make sure that you don't just know about the team that you're working in, that you know about everyone else's team, how everything fits together from the top to the bottom.
What is a simple but often overlooked change senior leaders could implement to create a welcoming and inclusive work environment?
I've worked for Solihull for so long, so I was able to I knew a lot of people, I was able to network, I knew how the systems worked. But for someone new coming in, and in any role, but I'm going to speak a little bit about coming in as a leadership role from someone, if you're someone from a minority background, it's really having that level of support, making sure that that support is there, making sure that for instance, the EDI, that is a priority of the council, it's there in black and white, but showing that person that it is something real, this is what's happening. I've worked for Solihull for a long time, and it is a very sort of supportive environment to come and work in, and a local authority that actually promotes that the tools are there to help you to develop even further in your career if you want it to be. So I would say making sure that those tools, that support is known straight away from sort of day one, that it's not something that they have to go and find out about, that it's there as part of their induction, but that it's not just signed up and put to one side, that it's always going to be there for you.
Can you give us an example or a moment in time that really cemented why EDI is so important?
Months ago now is that I entered into a reverse mentoring arrangements with the Director of Adult Social Care in Solihull. I felt that it really did lead to real changes, even down to simple things such as making sure that it's on team meetings, agendas across all teams, that recruitment was really looked at, the questions that were being asked of people, making sure that they were fair and inclusive questions, that panels we're also reflective of the people that we work with. A lot of things that were probably already there but have further developed, I think, through sort of that reverse mentoring, which actually contributed to those changes.